his sake, I'm going to tell you what's happening here. Some people claim they didn't get the e-blast about this meeting being in person and not on Zoom. And two of those people are no, two of them are not board members, so they're on Zoom. So now we're on Zoom to accommodate the board members who thought that Zoom was on Zoom. So I'm sorry for the disruption.
Okay.
We have a vast misunderstanding. Okay. And now we're going to call the roll.
Gloria Clancy.
Here.
Mike English.
Here.
Ricky McCall.
Here.
Arnie Strong.
Here.
Gary
Can't hear.
Marla Fireman. Here. Esther Brill.
Here.
John Under.
He's here.
Dan Gallup.
Don't get
Do we expect him on?
well.
He's not going to be on Zoom, but he may be here later. And speak up to the camera, please.
I'm sorry.
John?
Dan was that he would not be here.
Okay, Dan is out.
But he may, I would like for him to call and told.
He was. And I'll tell you what he said later.
I wish you had told me it was at the temple. I would have been at the temple.
Minutes from the end of the meeting. Okay, 24. Anybody have any corrections, omissions, anything to say about that minutes from that meeting? If not,
Cannot hear.
vote.
Okay, speak up. John can't hear. Speak up.
Tell him to turn up his sound.
Turn up your sound.
It is up.
Try. Try.
It was when I was on Zoom, it's very hard hearing.
This room is stuck in sound.
Okay, by unanimous. I knew there was a reason I didn't want to have failed.
Well, I read about.
Well, so have I, but you know, so have I. But it doesn't say certain words. I can also say. Therefore, the move, the minutes are approved. Treasurer's report.
We have plenty of money in the checking account to pay our bills, which is the main concern right now. And with what's going on in Ukraine and the stock market, who knows what we have in our investment account? I mean, that's going to vary from day to day. We started out with a nice amount of money before all this Michigan started, but you know, only time will tell. It'll go down, it'll go back up. That's the thing with an investment account.
It's will it be standard to have a financial report for the month? So at the end of January, we have January
We had that,
report.
didn't we? We had
Yes,
that.
Stacy sent out the financials
Okay.
to the board.
Okay.
We have that. We could look at it at the next one. Okay, that, you have the floor. You want the mic?
No, I don't think, you can hear me, and if I'm just doing it this way. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Certainly our thoughts and our prayers are with all the potential victims and those who have been saddened and affected by the situation in Ukraine. If you feel motivated to send some financial assistance, I made some suggestions, or however that would be good, and our prayers are certainly there. Friday night, Marlis, all things being equal, Marlis will be here and joining me as we have our rescheduled Shabbat Shira back from January, special musical Shabbat, highlighting the music of Debbie Friedman, that was her yard site when we were going to be doing originally. So we have a lot of Debbie Friedman music, but also some from Cantor Jeff Klepper and Craig Taubman and some other composers, as well as familiar traditional melodies for those who are looking forward to those. So please join us on Friday night. Then on the 16th, we said 4 o'clock in the afternoon will be our Purim celebration. We're planning on doing it outdoors with the traditional Megillah reading, with some songs, some hamantashen, as well as a very special Purim spiel. And thank you to all who have volunteered to participate in that. I will be in touch with you shortly. Then Friday, losing my date. We're on regular schedule as far as the second Saturday morning will be our service here, 10 o'clock in the morning. The third Friday night, so that would be the 18th, will be our Friday night service as well. And then we'll start looking forward to Pesach, to Passover. So watch for information about that as well. The second of my classes on Meet the Rabbis, focusing on Rabbi Solomon Freehoff and what classical Reform Judaism meant to the North American Jewish community. That will be on March 24th, Thursday afternoon. And if you can't make it, it is recorded. So thanks to everyone. Wish you well and good health.
Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi.
Hey, Rabbi, does that one, the Ukraine crisis fund, is that, or I got that wrong? You know, it's Ukraine crisis. Is that the rabbi that you're familiar with?
The one through the World Union for Progressive Judaism.
Yes.
That one
That rabbi,
specifically will go to Rabbi Duchovny, who as of yesterday was bunkered in his cellar, along with some 30-some members of his congregation. Was the last that we heard from him, but he is safe.
which brings up another question. I know I got phone calls that people wanted this right away.
Right.
Is it smart to, it doesn't seem to me like it may be more useful a lot of times when they have a disaster, things settle down before, and I don't know when that will be, but I just wondered if the money's gonna get there, even if it's going to a great organization and to a rabbi, if he's bunkered down and
Right. I'm not sure
Yeah.
how, that's a good question, Gary. I'm not sure how they will be proceeding. Maybe they're holding the monies in escrow,
Yeah.
whatever, until things settle down. There are people who are purchasing food, kosher food, things that would be necessary for those who are hunkering down, as we say. There hasn't been any damage to the best of our knowledge. There hasn't been any damage to any of the synagogues or any of the leaders of the Jewish community. Contrary to what some people were saying, to the best of our knowledge, the Jewish leaders have included, well, besides the prime minister and the president, but the Jewish leadership has not been targeted, nor have Jewish institutions been targeted. Federation from here is suggesting contributions go to the national federation organization that was one of the four.
Jewish Family Services is doing stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else? No. Okay, Esther, where are you?
Right here. Okay. So you want the aesthetics committee report?
Do you have one?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, so,
all right. Speak up. Here comes your mic.
okay. I heard from Toby, she could make it, she had a doctor's appointment. And so she said that they're narrowing down the estimates given by landscapers for the outside of beautification project. Stacy, I'll email, I didn't have a chance to email you this, so I will. So
That would be lovely.
thank you, I meant to, but Okay, they're having a committee meeting Wednesday, and once the outside and inside committee members, Arnie, Tom, Peter, Borad, and I'm not sure if that's the inside or the outside, I wasn't clear on that. They will be able to inform us of their progress. They do have a question for Lori or the board in general, the procedure for next steps. Do they then present it to the board? Does the board then vote on whether to approve it? They know they have a generous donor willing to pay for the project, and so they're going to have to adhere to the bylaws on spending anything north of $10,000, as this will be, or does it bypass the rule because it is not coming out of the temple's budget? They would like to know this before Wednesday when they're having.
Okay, they need to, in answer to her question, they need to come to the study committee meeting, which I will formally invite them to, present their proposal. And then the following week at the general board meeting, regular board meeting, we will vote. The board will vote. Yes, they do have to have vote of board. I will send her everything she needs to know about when to show.
Thanks, it's hard typing, but I'm sure Tom, you could also, Arnie,
They look so much.
I know, can also, if you're going to be at that meeting, let her know about that. Okay, thanks.
I think we assumed that anyway.
Are there any questions for Connie about that project, or Lenny, do you have anything to add about the project that you're meeting about on Wednesday? No?
Not really. We have two bids and they both specify what kind of plantings. I guess we're going to look inside if we're totally happy with what they recommended or what they offered. And if we need to make changes, we'll go back home and add a new proposal, I think.
Thank you. Okay, Beth, is that it? No, she's gone off.
No, they're gone. They left.
They're gone?
Yeah.
They were already bored. My God.
Yep, he's gone.
Yes, Stephanie, is it art gallery? I think.
Yeah, art gallery.
Either Martha or.
Okay, maybe next time. Building and reservation station. Okay. You needing the mic?
Okay, we have security presentation with Paul Patterson on Thursday, March 3rd at 2 p.m. and here in the sanctuary.
12 p.m.
12 p.m. Thank you. 12 p.m. I wrote it right in the show. Then there's services on Friday, March 4th at 5 p.m. Torah study on March 5th at 10 a.m. Sisterhood meeting doesn't say here or at somewhere else. Here then at the temple on Tuesday, March 8th at 10 a.m. We have the men's club, but they're meeting at El Patio on March 9th at 9 a.m. Saturday, March 12th, services at 10 a.m. Monday, March 14th, Parashat Shavua at 10 a.m.
Zoom.
on Zoom. And let's see, Wednesday, March 16th is Purim, 4 p.m. outdoors in the garden. Friday, March 18th, we have Friday night service at 5 p.m. Saturday, March 19th, Torah study at 10 a.m. Sunday, March 20th at 2 p.m. Michael G's performance here at ESTC. Monday, March 21st, we have board study session at 9:30 here. Thursday, March 24th, 2 p.m. Meet the Rabbi's Rabbi. That is a Zoom presentation. Friday, March 25th, 10 a.m. There's membership club committee meeting here at the temple. Saturday, March 26th, 10 a.m. Torah study. Sunday, March 27th, 10 a.m. Gentle yoga class is scheduled. I don't know if there's going to be anyone.
Just to change, take the 25th off, we're gonna be meeting on Zoom based on our policy attendance at the last one. So, yeah, that'll be on Zoom. And then the chair yoga, take that off for now.
Okay, off the website and the
Yeah.
calendar. Okay, and then finally, we have Monday, March 28th, 10 a.m. is the next board meeting. And Wednesday, March 30th, 3 p.m. is social action committee. We're getting busy at the temple.
Everything from Joe.
No, no, I didn't hear anything from.
The cat?
I forgot baby.
Oh, no, she's just gonna be kind of out of it for, as far as, what she's doing for the temple while Fred's in the hospital.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. We don't have to do that. Joyce is not here.
Joyce, that's
Yes, okay, from Joyce, can I give all of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so her e-script, she says she's not actively tracking the e-script anymore because of administrative difficulties encountered with the program. For the yurtsite donations in 2021, there was $1,818, $4,118. An Amazon Smile from 119 to 9/30/20. Oh, I'm sorry. January 9th, first time I said. That's all. I'm sure I spent more than this on Amazon Smile. Was $41.99. And fries through August 31st, 21 was $105.89. And she also said the fries for fries and Amazon, which I'm sure appear regularly in the show.
Well, I don't report the amounts.
No, just how to use it.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes.
Another question? Can I walk back to Eric and Joe? With services coming up this Friday, are we going to have a list that is there for software to be read?
The list is, we have the list, it's out there on the website. Pretty much if there's anything that's added to it, it comes to Stacy, the rabbi, yeah, so the list is there and it's.
And I update mine all the time too.
Okay. Facilities, Nanny, I think you talked about what you're doing right now, but is anything else about facilities that you want?
Yeah, people have been concerned that the lights around up front of the door haven't worked for quite a while. And we're trying to figure out what the issue was. It's not bulbs. But anyway, it doesn't seem to be that solar thing back here. But Old Time Electric was here a couple days ago. He decided that it's a more complicated issue because we checked, and regardless, he's going to be back here on the 10th to find the problems and correct them.
Okay. Any questions? Anyone have any questions? About that. You're gonna get that light on sometime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Historian, that's still me, and Gail is now taking the helm. But it's only temporary, that she's the historian. So when you read it, you can tell her here's how happy you are. Story. Okay, we're almost caught up. We still have a big gap. I'm working on 2020. She's working on 2022 with the health station. And we're kind of proud of what we've done with COVID and how that affected the world and how it affected Temple specifically. So if you have some time, if you look at the 2000 March around 2000, just to look that over so that somebody will see it. Besides me.
So as far as historic, I want to know who has arranged to take a picture of the thing so that it can be posted back here as a precedent.
No one.
Well, we need to get that established. Sorry, you gotta be on the wall.
Sorry, well, I'm gonna call Sid.
Yeah, I snuck a few pictures of Roseanne in the kitchen over that Photoshop. So there are some pictures there.
Who can fix it last?
Well, it's fixed, it's just the back, but you don't need a refrigerator in the back.
Well, all right, whatever.
Regarding Historia, something that I know you had talked about before the pandemic was our 25th anniversary passed for the temple. And maybe hopefully with things getting better, we could look at it late this year, perhaps having, what we had talked about earlier, which was having all the work you guys have done shown here. And we have, at least maybe for members, have some sort of grand weekend like we had talked about earlier.
I did have a question about that. I'm trying to remember if you see me about that. The library. Can you hear me? Yeah. And I know it was Marsha. And she was talking about it waiting until 2025, which would be the 30th anniversary, to do something, that would be, a big anniversary celebration at that time, which we could also do. There is a lot of information about the Friendship Club. I'm really surprised at how much there is. And my thought was perhaps sometime when I get activated to this job, we could do just a slide presentation. Let's just put a lot of that on, yes, you will. On slides and on a CD and from the beginning to, I don't know how powerful, I don't remember, but it's close to the Friendship Club. Because I think that would be, and then we could do 30th and start from the building of the actual dedication of the temple.
It's whatever pops up.
Specifically. But that's just my thoughts about that. Like, we can talk about that. Anybody else got some suggestions for that though?
I'm not quite clear. Are you saying instead of having for the 25th, even though it's belated, wait till the 30th, but in the meantime have a slideshow about the?
Yeah, I'm saying that we can do both. We can do something now as an introduction to the 30th anniversary. Because the anniversary that we're talking about is the anniversary of the dedication of this building. But the congregation was not a congregation, it was a club. And they are the really founding mothers and fathers of this congregation. And a lot of good stuff went on before the building was up. So I'm saying that we could do that part now and wait until, if we're all still here to do it, in 2025, which seems like a far away to me.
To me, you know, I celebrate what you can. We can do it again in 25, but do what we can now because, you know, with COVID, with loss of members and stuff, I always like to celebrate when we can.
We can celebrate when we can. Rabbi?
Here's a compromise suggestion. 28 in Hebrew is koach. Everybody knows that 18 is kai. 28 is koach, which means strength. So we could start like a 2-3 year celebration at year 28
Okay,
that would conclude in the 30th year. So you could be celebrating different historical
Aspects.
times during that and lead up to it. And also, it's very easy to do, to add on a fundraising component.
yes.
So, you know, a campaign
Well,
and try
yes,
that
it
way.
is. Now, the last time the fundraising committee wanted nothing to do with the history. And that these slides were put together at that time the idea was to show it in the background of the fundraiser, just keep showing the pictures, because a lot of it is pictures. And the fundraising committee said, no, it was not appropriate at that time. And that was, yeah, it was just the fundraising. It wasn't the program committee. It was.
We'll take another look at it.
Yeah, we'll take another look at it. I think it's a great idea, and that means I don't have to worry about it.
Gloria,
Yeah,
Oh,
Ani,
I do have one more issue that for facilities. that I
okay,
forgot about.
let's finish with this, Ani, and come back to you.
Are we finished with facilities or can I add it now or later? What?
let's finish.
Just until
Wait.
Rick, we're finished
Okay.
with this discussion.
Okay.
Ray, I'll be on your side. Ray. At 27th, 28th, whatever, we're still very hesitant about big dinners. We used to have a couple of dinners a year, Seder and something else. But if it's going to be a big event, then we might have a problem because as you'll find out when I give my report, we're having a problem finding a caterer. Because we don't have a kitchen cook, so it's got to be a caterer.
That's for Passover.
Well, but
Is it possible,
and
I don't know how many of the founding people are still alive, but is it possible that during one of the Shabbat evenings that we could show something instead of the rabbi's drash and acknowledge them?
I don't have any idea about that. But Mike, you might.
I'd recommend that the president appoint a little committee to look into it, to propose various options and bring them back to you and the board.
Okay, you want another committee or you want to do it through programs?
Yeah, it'll be a subset of programs. I know Merle spent a good bit of time working on this anniversary program before COVID stalled it. So I suggest that, we take it offline and have it as a subset of programs.
Okay, I really like the rabbi's idea
Okay.
because it spreads it over 3 years. And it gives us a lot of time to plan and think about it because we'll also be doing fundraising things at that, forever.
You could break
Okay, but I wanted to ask you to answer somebody's question, how many original members of some part of the Friendship Club are still alive besides you?
I'm not an original member, but I will get back to you on that.
Okay,
They don't
thank
all
you.
have to still be members either.
No.
No, just
And
Merle.
Just a little history. We've had like a 10-year anniversary party, a 15-year, 20-year anniversary party. And I think we should have a belated, 25 years is a pretty good number. I think we should have a belated 25-year party. And at the 20th year, we tried to get the old members from the original and the old presidents. There are only 2 that time. So I don't think there are too many left at this point.
Okay, well, we'll have the program committee, subcommittee of the program committee, report back to the board in the future, okay? Because we've got some time either way. Now, Arnie wants to say something that he forgot to say before, Arnie.
Okay, concerning a receptacle out in the front here.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, we've been talking about whether we're gonna light up the, what do you call it, thing out there? Labyrinth, I always forget that word. And I think that we don't want to set something up to make it, you know, operate all the time at night or anything like that remotely.
No,
But I think a good compromise is to have an outlet out there. And then we can decide when we want to light up the labyrinth. And that'll be our decision.
mhm.
And also, if we're gonna put a Hanukkah out there, if we build one, a big one out in the middle of labyrinth, that would be really cool. But anyway, it's only, I got a bid from Old Time Electric for a weatherproof outlet. It's only $200. The Brotherhood is willing to pay $100, so I'm asking the board to authorize $100 and then and approve doing this. That way, when Old Time Electric comes back on March 10th, you can do it. So do I need to make a motion or something, or?
Yeah. In my brother's report,
Yes, if you want to do
I
it,
have a couple of questions concerning the outside light, the Lambert.
That's-
And I want to know, we'd like to get some board approval on it, so maybe
Okay.
we want to wait until for that, or anything.
Yeah.
Brotherhood is involved, wait till my report.
yes, let's wait till Merle's report, but Merle, that did not come before the study committee. So that, this is like the official root of this, but it can, I suppose we could talk about it. When you give your report. It's very awkward holding this thing. Okay. Vicky.
Okay, hospitality committee, bagel breakfast, we're gonna try them again. In April, nothing in March yet. Because we did 2 and then stopped again, so anyway. The other thing that we're addressing right now is the possibility of a Seder. And Meridell made 3 phone calls to possible caterers and got no responses back. So anybody who knows a caterer, please let me or Meridell know who you might recommend. We're trying to keep the price reasonable, and I suspect we'll need quite a bit of additional help, because when we do the Seder, I think we would have to do the Seder plates. I don't know if a caterer could do gefilte fish, or if they could do matzo ball soup, but, you know, so I don't know how much we, as a congregationalist, would have to do.
Who were the 3 that Meridell contacted?
I forgot to write them down, but one of them was Longhorn, one of them was one of the grills at a golf club. And I don't remember the third one.
Did you contact the one that Gary had some dealings with? Did you contact the one that Gary Melton had dealings with for Hanukkah?
I delegated that to Meridell and told her that somebody had suggested sweet pea. So she didn't say she's contacted them yet, so I don't know.
How about Dominic's?
Huh?
Dominic's
Okay,
question, I don't know.
anyway. Anybody can think of anything else? We're wide open and we don't have a lot of time. You know,
These are all resident.
Huh?
These are all restaurants.
I know,
They're not,
Dominic's may want to have it at their restaurant.
no.
no, oh.
If, I don't know if they'll do it, but.
No, because it turns out it's a Saturday night and that would be a restaurant's big night. It would be
Oh,
April
yeah, you don't
16th.
want to go to Dominic's
Dominic's on
on Saturday. I was
Saturday
there last Saturday. It was a
Well, where did we
Saturday
go?
night. It was,
We went someplace.
I mean, it was good. I'm not talking about the food.
No, we went someplace, one of the golf clubs, prior to, forever, the kosher sing-along, whatever. And that had a big back room. So, I mean, that is a possibility.
I don't know, I'm just.
Okay, yes, Mom?
Does La Posada do a Seder?
Yes.
Okay, so would it be possible to talk to La Posada and ask if they would extend what they do and would use it? Because they're already doing a Seder. They're already preparing.
I would suggest you call one of the residents over there.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, so
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay.
Call one of the residents there and ask them if they can approach the kitchen or who the management.
Marcia Weiner does that for us for Mitzvah
Marsha,
Day.
Or Toby,
And-
or Irene Miller,
Yeah.
or, you know.
Dingabog.
There's a list.
Yeah.
Okay, Ricky, something else?
Yeah.
Nothing
No.
else? Okay.
The
Uh,
resident, okay.
And that, as long as we can ask rather than join that committee, join La Posada, if we could have like a separate dining room for ourselves too, if that was possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just,
Well, they shut down the gourmet room for lack of help right now because of COVID, but that might be, that's a pretty good sized room. That
yeah,
might
that's what I'm
work.
saying, so that
But I don't
we
know.
could be, yeah, no, but as long as they were asking to ask. That is a
We
question.
need to contact a resident.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's what I'm
there yet,
saying, as
so
long
Yeah.
as somebody. brings
Okay,
it up.
I'm gonna call in,
Barclays.
Yeah, I've got that note.
okay, we're gonna move on. Have you got something from the library, Esther?
No.
Okay,
Library.
Michael, you're on.
Okay. If you'd like, I'll go through each of them, so each of the different committees. For
Yes,
membership, this last month, we have new members, Marianne and William Katz have joined us. Marianne is Aggie Klieger's sister, and they moved here recently from California. So one of these cases where we've been talking for a couple of years, and, you know, it's sometimes the way it works. So we're happy that they joined us. I decided after chatting with the rabbi that maybe I'd reach out to our newer members, just see what their thoughts are about what ideas they have for membership, what prompted them to join. And so far, of the large group of people I've reached out to, I've gotten about 5 or 6 responses, and they're very interesting, and we'll be talking about that. Anybody have anything more on membership for me? I did get some phone call messages from Stacy. I'll follow up with, one may lead to a potential member. Regarding program committee, definitely excited about this if we could start some work on the anniversary party. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to be right away, but you know, we should be proud of our continued existence and place in the community. On February 16th, we had a very good presentation from a local travel provider named Pleasure Bent. And they came here and we had about 20 people in attendance. They presented the types of tours they do, not only locally, but also nationally and internationally. And they also do customized tours. So if our sisterhood or brotherhood would be in something, they would like that. It was a Jewish couple that just bought out Pleasure Bent about 4 years ago. So that's another nice connection. I also know that the rabbi was thinking about maybe working with them on a possible tour, Jewish tour of New York City sometime a year from now. And that sounds exciting. We're looking forward to hearing more about that. Yes. The rabbi also mentioned there's a 4-part series that is being held on Zoom the 4th Thursday of each month. And this is called Meet Our Rabbi's Rabbis. These are rabbis who have influenced him. And we've already had the first session last Thursday. So it'll be 2 o'clock on the 4th Thursday of each month. In March, we have the Michael Durban concert that's coming up. And Michael always puts on a very interesting and unique type of concert. He's quite the musician, spent his career in music in the Hollywood, Beverly Hills area. In April, we have late afternoon on Sunday, April 24th. We're looking at another sing-along. The rabbi is planning a Jewish freedom themed sing-along that will be held here outdoors in the patio. So that should be nice. And at 4 o'clock, I think it'll be nice weather at that time. Also in April 5th, we're looking at attending a Jewish Federation sponsored event called Together in Jewish Learning. I think through Ruth Ann's efforts, we're able to get transportation provided by them up there. It'll consist of a keynote speaker followed by breakout sessions. And I think they have limited sign up, limited space. I think we've already exceeded what our minimum
For the
is.
shuttle, yes.
For the shuttle, yes, yes.
Not for the event.
Not for the event, but for the shuttle.
And it'll also be on Zoom, and the breakout rooms will be on Zoom.
It'll be on Zoom and
break-
breakout rooms.
People
will be-
on Zoom will have breakout rooms, people in person will get fed.
Oh, well, that's a
And
good
you're
deal.
looking to see.
There you go.
Want to.
There you go.
Carpool, yeah, at this point, it'd be carpool. I mean, unless if we can guarantee them another 15 people, okay? And like I said, guarantee, they will have another shuttle. They will provide, but we're started with one shuttle because I couldn't guarantee them 30 people, okay? So we want this to be a win-win situation. We don't want them to say, well, no, this is not financially acceptable and
Start small. and build.
Yeah.
So this is sort of trailblazing in a way, you know, we've been working hard at trying to develop a relationship with the Federation. They're now offering us something that seems attractive to us, and our support of this event would go a long ways in terms of cementing that bond.
Michael,
Yes.
they just gave us a wonderful idea about how to fill this sanctuary with people. You got to feed them.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're on Zoom, you don't get food. It's a good idea. It's funny, but it's a good idea. People, if you feed them, they
Oh,
come.
yeah. Feed them and they will come. That's,
Remember that for the program committee.
yes, we're all ready to start doing things with food. And then finally, ways out in the future, Les has been working with Bev and Marcia Weiner on a Zoom presentation on the history of Jewish art. This will be a 3-part series. It will be in later October and early November. And so there'll be more down the road about that. And then finally, my public relations, nothing happening recently. We've pretty much been staying to ourselves. So we've been holding back on the publications and advertising to the outside world.
May I back up?
I'm sorry, do you want to?
Back up to the Seder?
We have a news flash from the Seder to my
No,
right.
it's a news idea.
Okay.
How would this group feel about a potluck Seder?
That's what we were just talking about.
I mean, I've done potlucks for 250 people, and the only thing that we really have to guarantee is the Seder plate. And then, you know, a couple of things that we feel we have to, and then the dinner portion.
You know, Kay and I were just discussing back here.
I love them because then you get all kinds of interesting things.
But, you know, a few people you could sign up to make.
Exactly.
Whatever.
That's what you do.
Someone do the soup, someone, you know, 5 or 6 people. No, potluck would be really easy, because the temple could do the setup,
Right.
you know. And it wouldn't cost any.
Or very minimal.
Is there someone volunteering in the name of the sisterhood to lead this, to do
No,
this?
sisterhood isn't going to be in charge of something like that.
No?
Well, it would be working with hospitality.
Well, I have to bring it to the sisterhood.
Well, they have a meeting tomorrow, isn't it? That's next week. Well, we can discuss.
Well, you need to come to the meeting. though,
I
because-
plan to.
Okay.
Ooh,
But
Okay.
I don't know.
Hey.
Can you take like an informal vote just to see what you think about it right now? So I can at least say the board is enthusiastic or cool to it or whatever.
Okay, anybody, whoever likes the idea of possibly.
Wait a
potluck,
minute, does
no?
anybody have anything more to say on this issue?
I'm
New
not gonna
issue?
vote on it, just, you know, kind of-
Can we just talk about it first, all right? Someone?
My,
Oh, you have the mic there.
my only concern is kashrut. How do we handle?
We're never not
We're
kosher.
we're not kosher at all.
No.
Okay, fine.
We're not kosher. Michael, we're not kosher. What do you have to say about it?
Okay, well, with
How
the
about the
obvious
idea?
prescriptions, you know, obviously no shellfish and no mixing
Right.
of meat and milk.
No pork.
No
and
pork.
pork, you know, and it sounds silly and you laugh, but some people have seemed to not to forget about that. So, you know,
If you set the menu.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
no,
yeah,
Right.
And say, okay, these are the articles you need to bring.
Right.
And then you have 5 people bring the soup, 5 people bring the.
Salad.
okay.
Yeah.
The only other, and I'm not saying yay or nay, but is there an issue with bringing food in from the outside versus making it in our kitchen from a health standpoint?
We're not really a formal kitchen because everything we do is for in-house and not for money. I mean,
Okay,
supposedly.
so it's not an issue.
So that's,
Okay, so you,
because we have people bringing in cakes all the time and stuff like that.
All kinds of things.
Yeah, we've had potluck before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't do a potluck Seder in Connecticut when I was there because then we'd be in the state, you know, we'd have to do the whole kosher thing.
Oh, you
But here
can't
we're
do
not
that.
kosher.
You can't do that. Rabbi, you have a thought.
Yeah.
A question and a comment. Question and a comment. We're still talking about doing it second night
Yes,
on the Saturday night.
right.
Okay. Second, and I do need to say, my previous 3 experiences with potluck seders have all been flops.
Really?
Well, we'll have to break
Yeah,
that.
there wasn't enough food. It really can't be a haphazard kind of thing.
No.
People who have experience coordinating potlucks need to be in charge and make sure that you have enough of X and enough of Y, and enough of Z, because it creates problems and it creates major tension between other temple members. If, you know, so-and-so didn't bring enough of what they said they were gonna bring, and somebody canceled out at the last minute, and so we don't have enough soup, or we don't have enough of the matzo balls, and then we're only blaming each other rather than
The caterer.
the caterer, yeah. So just please keep that, I'm not saying don't do it, but it can't be a haphazard
No.
catch-all thing. It must be strictly coordinated.
It has to be very organized.
Yeah.
Very.
Okay, that's,
No,
no,
Esther.
that's a thought. Esther,
Well, couldn't we just, thanks, couldn't we just offer the Seder plates for each of the tables? I think that we could do, and then everybody just bring their own meal.
Ooh.
As a potluck.
No.
No?
no, no.
No, even John says no.
Oh, okay. I would like to bring my own meal because I'm kosher and couldn't in the past, so I would, you know, enjoy that, to be able to come.
Yeah. I think the caterer you were talking about, Gary, is that Sweet Pea or you said some woman down the road here?
Yeah, she lives down a few blocks from here. She did, that's what her family did was temples. I couldn't find the information on her. I think Ricky got back with me though and did find, didn't you?
Latkes, right, she had the latkes.
Yeah, she did the latkes, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She used to be the caterer for the JCC, right?
Oh.
She
Yeah.
used to have a little catering.
Exactly, that little,
Snack bar thing in the
Yeah.
lobby of the JCC.
Yeah, and then before that, their family, when she was growing up, they all worked together and did, they catered for a temple.
Could we,
and they
could
all
we
had-
ring her doorbell?
I don't know where she's at, though. I just know she's nearby.
Does
Did-
anybody, who
did
who
Ricky
planned
have
I
it?
did hear
You found it.
one person say that they were not really
That's
impressed.
Michael G. didn't
Yeah.
care for it,
please.
yeah. What- what-
And I'm remaining anonymous. as to
Ricky,
who it
didn't you
was.
tell me you found a phone number or something?
No, I
No.
didn't.
Who was in charge of the Lutkes from the Brotherhood?
I can check with.
Randy.
May still have that.
Wouldn't we have a receipt if we paid for them?
You must have paid her or something. Yes.
Randy,
No,
Years ago.
Randy made the last, no, that was.
Excuse me, I do need a gavel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Merle has the floor.
Years ago, for one Passover, we were contacted, but we contacted a caterer who, out of Tucson, that specifically caters, and you probably can find his name from, I think we got it from either the JCC or the Federation at that time. We didn't go do it because it was expensive at that time, but he specializes in these, he always used to send a advertisement to us. So I'm sure if somebody contacts JCC or Federation, they can check into it.
Yeah.
If you want to have the Seder here.
Wait a minute, let me get the mic.
And I found Sweet Pea on Google and Sweet Pea Catering for all events in Caravaca, Green Valley, Tupac, blah, blah, blah. Phone number, you may want to write it down,
Sure.
520-730-7421. And they have a website,
That was easy.
well, you can Google it. Sweet Pea Catering.
Okay, I think that don't have very much time. It's just, we're just pushing March 1st in 2 days. So we have to make some sort of decision, and this is what the choice is. We find a caterer and do advertising as fast as we possibly can, because in that case, we're going to have to advertise it, get money up front from anybody who wants a reservation. And the third thing would be for Gail to talk to the sisterhood about it at the next meeting and see what the feeling of that group is about wanting to head it up.
The sisterhood has never been in charge of.
Not in charge of, but work with us.
Okay, if the sisterhood's not going to do it, then it's up to
Hospitality.
hospitality.
With this.
That's what I'm talking about. Just find out what they're feeling about the meeting is. Right.
We've got a lot of directions to go on this.
Okay. We'll get back at you, but it'll be through the mail.
Yeah.
Ruth Ann Ritual.
Rabbi pretty much gave the whole report for the
Good.
ritual. The only thing I'll add is we do have planned a Passover service the first morning of Passover, that Saturday morning. And the following Friday, we'll have a Friday night service with Yisker.
First, isn't
That's
Saturday the second Seder?
That's
Yeah,
at
but it's the
night.
first day,
That's
First
first day,
Monday.
first morning. It's the
Got
first
it,
day.
I got it. Okay. Thank you. Security, Gary.
Yes, and this is quite different than the report I turned in because some things have changed since then.
Okay,
One, I do want to mention, we now have 4 members. That's Dan and I, Dan Gallitz and myself, Cliff Schlechter and Les Bakke that are on our security team. So we've expanded significantly. And we're very happy to have all the people we have. They all have some very good areas of expertise to help us with our security. I want to just mention, somewhere it'll come out, but there was an incident in Indianapolis JCC, which I did not disseminate to everybody. And the reason I didn't disseminate it to everybody is it came in from Paul and from our team at the JCC. And there's a network that they have nationally. And it was an incident that had really no connection to anti-Semitism or hatred. It just happened that they had a brawl in a basketball game at the JCC, carried over to the streets, and somebody had a gun, and 2 people were shot, but they were okay. And the person that did the shooting has not, at the time of this, had not been identified or found. And Paul can update us on that on Thursday afternoon when he's here. But it just was totally, everybody said it was no connection from what they could find out. Yeah, so I normally, sometimes that would go to all the board members and then eventually to everybody. But this we didn't feel it needed to at that point. Paul Patterson will be here on Thursday for a presentation at noon. From the Tucson, the Jewish Federation of Southern Arizona. I would like to, on Tuesday and Thursday morning, to put out another flyer each of those 2 days to try to continue to get our numbers good and to emphasize that we do want people to, if at all possible, to come and be here present. And in line with our president's thoughts earlier, I would like to get permission for the hospitality committee to put out a big pot of coffee, no food, but some coffee. I'll donate 2 cases of water and maybe some water.
No water.
We have
We have
refrigerators
water
full.
coming out of,
Oh,
do we have
Oh,
water? Our
oh.
water is water.
okay. Well, I was happy to if everybody, yeah.
We'll let you know when we're down.
Okay, and I'll donate tea. How about that for the tea?
We
little
have
tea?
plenty of tea.
Okay, all right. I won't donate a darn thing, okay? Okay.
If Toy wants to bake, that's different.
Well, she'll do that if we, or the potluck, yeah. Okay, so we got through that. And I would like just a feedback as to how, and I was just talking with Arnie at the beginning of the meeting, how do we want just a straight chair setup? Do we want some separation? I want to allow us to have as many people as here, but what would be the restriction, or what do you suggest as far as the chair setup? Because we'll be doing that, or Arnie will be doing that, or somebody will be doing that the day before. Any thoughts?
We don't have, we have not had any announcement to the congregation about what we're doing with the new CDC recommendation of no more masks, but they didn't say anything about distance.
Yeah, no,
So,
I don't think I haven't read anything like that. That's our,
yeah,
I mean, that's our decision. I just want to know if there's any strong feelings about that, or if we want to, we can put a little more separation between them. Or we can do it like we did at Temple, like we were doing,
yeah.
or we could leave it like as is.
Anybody else, Mike?
I'll try to speak up.
Yeah.
We have a little bit more room that you can spread out. We're not going to have food and tables, so we
good
can
idea.
take advantage of the periphery
Yeah,
and have maybe the same number of chairs with the separation.
with some separation.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
can have the
Yeah.
same number of chairs you have here currently,
Yep.
but taking advantage of the full scope of the room, the size of the room.
So,
The table's gonna appear for that, or is there any reason?
no, he doesn't. Exactly.
So we will be using up some space there, because that's where we keep those tables against the wall over there.
Well, we could drop.
In a minute, Ricky. Ricky,
Is Michael Benish part of the Brotherhood? Because he mentioned coffee in the hospitality committee, and you're my coffee expert. So if you were gonna be there, you wouldn't need me.
When is this?
Ask him.
Thursday,
Thursday noon, the third,
This
yeah,
week,
3rd
yeah.
March. That's the security meeting.
3rd of March.
I'm sure you got the flyers that went out.
3 days from now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be in town.
why are you worried about the coffee?
Because he's the coffee maven.
Well,
Oh,
he's
he
not gonna
can-
be
He
here,
can
so let's
remind
get
me of
another
how to
one.
make the coffee. and-
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Just call.
yeah. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. This, just a reminder I've been putting this out for a while just to make sure that to be safety conscious with all of them. That's what we're talking about on Thursday. Building alarm, we have had a lot of keys or fobs moved around with new folks in the board and changes. So if you haven't got your fob yet, or you haven't got instructions on the getting in and out of the front door, please come see me or Dan anytime, including today, and I'll go over that with you. We want everybody to know how to do it. It's easy, but you still need to know how to do it, so you're not one of those folks that are setting the alarm off by mistake. And if you do, the world hasn't ended, but we just want to make sure people have some instruction on it. Wear your name tag, saying this for Michael and for me too. And the front door, please come in through the front doors, go out through the front doors, with maybe the single exception of musicians and Michael and stuff when he's carrying stuff in. But that side door is really a bear. And if you start using the side door, you have a group in here. We had some non-temple groups in here with the immigration group on Friday that, you know, if they try to go out that door, they'll get out it, but it won't close properly and the alarm will go off the next time you set it. So I'm just telling you, we don't want to use that side door if at all possible. And if you do, let us know so we can make sure that it is properly closed. That's it. Any questions?
Any
Yeah,
questions
I have-
to this?
Yes, can you hear me?
Question from Dan Gallitz. Hold on, Dan.
Okay. Okay, can I say, I came in a little bit late on Gary's presentation. Are we going to resend out a notice to the membership and e-blast reminding them of the December 3 security meeting?
Yes, we're going to do that Tuesday morning and Thursday morning. It's going to be a beefed up version. It's going to be real bossy and tell them they need to get here.
And we're encouraging people to come in person, correct?
Well, they don't
Besides
get
the Zoom.
coffee if they come.
They don't get coffee if they don't come in person.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? No? Okay, moving right along. Stacy, the chauffeur's out, isn't it?
Chauffeur's out.
I knew she was gonna do that. That was a setup. All right. Social action, Gary.
Hey, this will be short. We've doing our Yodo cards, getting them up there. I got an accommodation for being the most consistent group in Tucson area to turn in those 100 cards every month for their students. We will have on March 8th, which is coming up, we'll have in March 23rd. Those 2 mornings from 8 to 11, we'll have the parking lot food collection again. And we only had 1 in February. We did 22.4 pounds of non-perishable food. That's it. Random Mexico. I don't know if we've ever mentioned before, but Larry Gravitz has accepted the position of co-chairperson for the Social Action Committee. He's very much focused on anti-Semitism and programs based on that. And also Bev has been very, very focused working on immigration program for the temple and with the national immigration groups. They've been both doing a great job. And, that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Anything from Amy on tributes?
Oh, yes, okay. You don't want sisterhood?
Microphone.
What?
Okay.
Amy?
Yes, Amy, tributes, let me see, okay. She received and sent out 16 tributes for the month. She clarified that the differences in those reported and those listed in the shofar depend upon the timing of the tribute coming in and ability to put it in the shofar. So if it comes in after the board meeting, it's not reported to the board, but it may still be in time for the shofar. That's why sometimes the numbers are different.
Okay,
But the
well, if
16
they're not in
is-
time, they'll get in next time.
I'm sorry?
If they're not in time, they'll get in next time.
Right. It's like,
Great, thank you. Stacy, you're on again about the web, according to.
but did you want sisterhood?
Not yet, no.
Oh, I thought that was, sorry. Oh, I apologize. I was just going by.
It's okay.
The website is updated with the shofars and the directory. The minutes will be posted after the meeting today and financial reports.
Any questions for Stacy? This is the last we're gonna hear from her today. No? Okay. Brotherhood, Merle. Oh,
Question for Stacy.
oh, good.
Yeah, at one point you talked about having some type of a gift.
I've never, ever received anything since then. So once we get more information or anything from somebody, I can make a page for that.
questioned you.
You did,
Yes.
but,
Nobody else.
but no, but
No, I didn't.
just the two of you, and I never got anything as far as what to actually.
I don't think we
Put
know,
on
the rest of the table knows what
Okay.
we're talking about.
Yeah, okay. There was this suggestion at one time that there be, well, the questionnaire that we sent out to, when was it, a few months ago? People wanted a gift shop. As it went through the board and the board study groups, we finally narrowed it down to the idea that individuals could post something online as part of the website, selling their goods. And things like yard side candles we could have, that would be easy. Kay and I were the only ones that responded in any way, shape, or form. And I've kept a list of things that are sort of hanging left over from that we haven't done lately, that we should be doing soon. And I talked about it with Ruth Ann, and Ruth Ann suggested that maybe just you and I put something up, see what happens. And if somebody else wants to join us, fine. So start small with just the two of us and go
I'll
from there.
join you too.
You-
I'll join you also. I was
Oh, we
waiting
got
for it to
3.
get
Hey,
more
it's growing.
thing.
Why don't you put a flyer in the shofar for the next shofar about that? Because I think it would.
Well, it was at the time, and Kay and I were the only ones that responded.
But I don't remember seeing flyer or something in the shofar.
I don't,
Something splashy to advertise.
you want to be flashy?
Oh, wow.
Okay, and I think also nobody wanted to be, quote, in charge of a gift shop. So it's just that we would put up our own little individual ads.
Yeah.
So to speak, and have people contact us directly. So we now have 3, so we can email amongst
Well,
ourselves.
I sort of thought there was going to be like a space on the website that would be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There will be a
right,
space.
yeah, this will be on the website.
dedicated space, right?
Dedicated space.
All right, the dedicated space on the website. So Kay, Esther, and I we'll just email together and decide what we're doing.
I'll talk to Stacy, she can do something.
Well, she'll make the space. We'll do whatever we have to do. And we'll see if she wants to flash.
Okay, now, Merle, do you want to flash? Flash us about the brotherhood.
You do?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. The programs, first of all, we had a Brotherhood billiard and dinner That was very successful, thanks to Ronnie for that. Programs already scheduled in the planning stage for 2022 are one, on August 5th, Shabbat after dark. The ritual committee contacted us. The rabbi wasn't going to be in town, so they asked if the brotherhood would do the Shabbat. So that's what we're going to have. It's going to be, well, I guess I'm asking because we have to have the approval by the board. What we plan to do, the service is going to be chaired by Mike Finkelstein and Sid Shapiro. And then what we hope to do, what we want to do, is have tables set up in the parking lot at night with the lights on. And we're going to serve food, have drinks, and we're going to feature the upcoming brand new BSTC Brotherhood Band. So it's going to be great entertainment. Next item is Romeo and Juliet, a dinner, Sunday, September 10th. It will be open to all temple members, and it's going to be chaired by Gary Friedman. Another thing that we're going to be starting, we already have one date already planned, and that is Sunday meetings. We're going to have Sunday on November 27th. There's going to be a Sunday Brotherhood meeting here at the temple, and we're going to have either a film or a speaker. And then we're going to wind up having 2 or 3 more because a lot of fellows are working or can't meet during the week. Another venue is we're going to, if we get permission from the board, we're going to do the Hanukkah party. That's when Rabbi Norm's going to be out of town. And so we have to have an approval from the Hanukkah party. And it's going to be December 25th. We also, now these are the other projects that we need your permission from, and this is what Arnie was talking about before. We had a donation for lights. The solar lights keep burning out by the land. So we had a donation from True Value Hardware. He gave us the lights, and we have somebody that wants to put them in for us, but we need permission from the board. And Arnie was supposed to bring it up at this board meeting, and we haven't heard yet. And I keep being asked by our brother members, because we like to, especially we're going to start having some programs. The brotherhood is going to have programs outside. We would like at least that night, when we have a program out there, to walk the land bridge and have the lights turned on. It could be a switch, they don't have to be on purpose.
Merle, is the Brotherhood open to having a certified electrician do the work, like Arnie mentioned? There's one company.
We discussed that that's not a problem. I mean, it's not going to be that expensive to have an outlet put there. And for him to check the lights, that's not a problem. We'll obtain a permit, and it'll all be done legally. It won't be a problem.
I think I already mentioned, I got this handled, you know.
Oh, it's already done?
Yeah, well, I've
So
got a
you
guy,
already have permission to do it?
No, he doesn't.
I don't
we have-
even know, well, given that I think the main facilities has a budget to do it. And I don't know that I believe that I have the authority to authorize it to do it. So to me, I'm not even sure if the board needs to approve it, frankly. But if they want to, they can.
Well, we could have some comments about it.
Fine.
I have a question first, and then Ricky's next. I can see her through the back.
Well, let me just finish, and then you can have a discussion.
Is it about the same thing? The
Yeah,
same?
similar
Okay,
to
go
the same
ahead.
thing. We also are planning, if we get your permission, to build a menorah to put up for Hanukkah. And we'd like to put it in the parking lot. The Brotherhood will pay for it and everything, but we just have to have permission to do that. And then another item, we have our membership dropped down 20 members from last year. So we're planning a membership program. And we'd like to do it, and the reason I'm asking you is, again, it's going to be called the this is going to be discussed in our meeting next week. Back to Shul barbecue. And what we're going to do is have a barbecue which will be open to the synagogue, all the members of the synagogue, in the parking lot. So we need your permission to do this. That's when we also, and it would be great if we could we're going to have entertainment also for the food and entertainment. And we'd like to walk the Lambert that night also, so it'd be nice if we have the lights done by then. And that's basically it. Thank you.
I'll just bring two quick issues up, just security. Security and the neighborhood, if you're having music and stuff. I just think those are a couple things that need to be thought through, but other than that, I'm supportive.
I want to review with the board and with you, Merle, and particularly for the Brotherhood. And that is anything that we have to vote on, has to come for discussion before the study.
Well, supposedly this was supposed to be brought up last month by Arnie.
Well, he did, but it wasn't on the agenda. And it wasn't on the agenda last week, even though Lenny was here. He just wanted to supervise, I guess, the study group and what we do and whatever. Nobody has come before the board until today to ask permission for any of this. But since it's all long-range plans, I think the only issue, unless there's somebody on the board that objects to this, that we probably could do today, as I said, unless someone objects, and that's the issue of the labyrinth, the lights, and the outlet. Does anybody on the board object to our discussing that now? Well, I mean, we could put it off another month, but I'm not sure it's necessary.
Ricky's got some.
It's sort of a two-part statement question.
Can
It's
you
about the
respond?
lights.
Can you respond to my question, which is,
The lights at the labyrinth.
do you think we should discuss it
Oh.
today?
Oh, that's the question. I'd like to just throw in my 2 cents worth.
Okay, Ricky, go for it.
Number one, solar lights, you bang them into the ground, they're on. But this is the second part. That means they're on every night. I don't know if we want the labyrinth lit every night.
We don't have solar lights
It's
anymore,
not
Ricky.
solar they're talking about.
No, but the little solar things that you could buy.
Well,
We don't have them anymore.
They don't
They
work
took them
well.
out.
Okay, that was, okay, that's it.
Second question?
No, it was 2 parts of the same question.
Okay, missed it. All right. Any objection to discussing this now
No.
to allow the Brotherhood to either eliminate or go forward with this project that we've heard from, but no, we haven't had an opportunity to vote on? Yes, honey.
Well, the
I
lights,
heard what you
the
said.
lights are already out there.
I knew
We
that.
don't have to do that. To put an outlet outside really doesn't necessarily depend on the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood's willing to donate
Yeah, I
$100
know,
for it.
I
But
know.
it'd be very useful for a lot of things to have an outlet right through. It would connect to the outlet right here. Doesn't cost much money. I don't even know if it needs board approval, frankly, because,
Yeah, they do.
So
No.
were you asking the board to approve $100? You just plan to take that out of your budget then?
well, I think I've got budget for that too, so I guess I'm not worried about that much either. So I
Okay,
guess it's- I guess it's a
I
non-issue.
only have one. Go ahead, Esther.
you know, we've had so much talk about safety and security and people knowing we're here and not here. I have no problem with it, but I'm just wondering if we need to discuss the idea of lights and having lighting and all like this because of safety and security and people, you know, coming. I mean,
It's my-
I'm committed to putting
Yeah.
the thing on my car now because I don't want to hide, but, you know, I'm just.
You should
saying
put two on your car.
but the
Put
magnet.
put two on your
Like,
car.
put the magnet on my car. sorry,
I'm
the
talking
magnet
about
on
that.
On my car.
Put two of them on your car.
Two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Arnie,
Yeah, I think the one thing that the board should decide is when we will allow the lights on the labyrinth to be on. You know, having out, that's fine, but we
That's-
need
that-
to authorize when. It's not gonna be every Shabbat.
Yeah,
Shabbat,
you're right.
it's gonna be-
You're-
So that's the part the board. really
yeah,
should be
we,
concerned with.
that was what I was going to, thank you, Arnie, for reminding me. That was what we were going to talk about. How is the Brotherhood planning to use this? We don't want the lights on that bright because they're much bright, they will be much brighter on all the time. How do you plan to use it?
Well, actually, you can put it on the switch and only turn it on. Like, as I said, we're planning to answer Gary's question about the neighborhood for our outdoor barbecue. It would start probably around 6 o'clock and be over by 8:30. So I'm sure the neighborhood wouldn't mind wearing it to be that loud.
I'm
And
not-
as far as the lights go, when we do have something outside in the evening, we put the switch on and put the lights on in the library. That's all. Doesn't have to go on every night.
Put the end.
My biggest question is, okay, the times that we have evening, whatever, for Shabbat.
Hmm.
Okay, who's gonna, first of all, people are here, they come here in the daylight, so it doesn't need to be lit, number one. When the service is over and it's night, they're gone. Nobody's gonna stick around to walk the labyrinth at night, number one. Number two is, who's gonna be responsible for plugging it in? I mean, I'm not.
The Brotherhood will plug it in, or not plug it in. There'll be a switch. All you have to do is turn the switch on.
No switch.
Somebody
No
has to
switch,
be
no
here to
switch.
do the switch.
No switch.
I'm not going to do it.
Oh,
That's
okay,
what I'm saying.
Roseanne.
And I'm just talking about with the lack of people that come to services right now, okay? I mean, I would just like to have somebody commit to coming to services every Friday night. Then we would know we have somebody to do the switch. Okay, I'm not adding anything more to myself. The second thing that I have to say is when you have something in the evening, we're in Green Valley. So the evening in Green Valley is over, especially in the summertime, before it even gets dark. So again, the labyrinth is not going to be lit. The third thing I need to say is that right now, the parking lot lights are turned off when there is nobody in the temple. Do we really want, to have the labyrinth lit when the parking lot is dark? I think that's a big safety and security thing, number one. Number two, just talk about the critters that like to use our parking lot as a toilet. Okay, I have stepped in at night, okay? I'm not going to sue the temple because I'm here out of my own fruition. But if somebody else happens to come in, opens up their car and finds the Javelina's calling card right by where they are, they may sue us.
Michael,
And that's
in other
something to
words-
think about too.
Are you saying that the Javelinas will come on because the lights are gonna be on?
No, I think the Javelinas and the Coyote like our parking lot. And they like to do their business in our parking lot.
What's
It
that got to do
hasn't
with
been
it?
so bad
No.
recently, but we
This
have
should
a
have all,
lot.
this should have been brought up by the board before the Lambert got, I mean-
Before the Lambert, we were never asked about lighting.
Yeah.
The board was never asked about
Okay,
lighting.
you know what, I'm just reporting, I have to go back and tell
Michael,
if you want me to go
I
back
don't-
and tell the Brotherhood that you refuse refuse to let us put lights on,
No,
that's
we're
fine.
just talking
Whatever you
about,
want to do, I'll do.
Just
well,
talking
we're
about the
trying to talk
process.
about it right now, Merle, okay?
Oh,
That's what we're doing. This is
Well-
called a discussion. It's a little,
Michael, you've got some background in this, Merle said, assume we're not gonna just, make the neighborhood angry. Haven't we had issues with lighting out here and
Okay.
have caused neighbors to, so I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if you stop, the music was the part that kind of alerted me that if, I don't know what you're gonna have for music, if it's not blaring, I mean, that's just something you have to be.
What are we
talking about here?
We're talking about the social event in the parking lot.
Oh.
we're
Yes.
talking about the labyrinth.
Oh, well, I'm talking about that because from a security point, that's what I'm most concerned about. Yeah, I can just see.
Event in the parking lot.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not going to have unless it's going on past 9 o'clock at night. I don't think you'll have any problems in the community. Okay, that's just the reality.
It'll never go on after 9 o'clock. Your
But
seniors here, they want to go
I'm more
home.
concerned with security about a menorah in the parking lot.
Oh, we're gonna discuss that at a study. So that's gotta come before the
Oh,
study.
okay. Oh,
We're not gonna
well,
discuss
that's fine.
the menorah.
That would be my.
We're
biggest
only
concern.
we're only discussing, I really want to limit the discussion to the labyrinth and lighting it and not lighting it.
Is
okay.
that real?
Now, personally, I'm a new,
Let me,
Go
can I
ahead.
just do a little background?
okay,
When the labyrinth came up originally, it never came through channels. It never came
Right.
through committees. It didn't come to facilities.
Right.
It didn't come to study session. It was brought up at a board meeting and everybody said, oh, yeah, it's great, let's do it. It's not going to cost us anything. We have no problems. None of the things that you're talking about were addressed.
well,
Like lighting, like electrical, like people getting hurt, the costs, nothing. It was just passed and that was the end of it.
well, I think that nobody had a problem with it at all.
Yeah, well,
I don't
I'm
remember it.
telling you, yeah,
but-
somebody asked, wasn't this discussed before?
No,
And
nothing,
nothing was
no,
ever
it was
discussed.
never approved. But, I don't have a problem about lighting it for an event. I don't have a problem at all about using the parking lot as a venue for whatever, concerts, or a barbecue. The thing I worry about is that I think that you're wrong. I think the beginning of a meal in Green Valley is at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. It isn't at 6 o'clock. So as long as you can move it, now we're talking about the labyrinth, but I'm also like him talking about the other thing. If you want to have a barbecue, you should move it to 5 o'clock instead of 6, and then you wouldn't have any neighborhood problems.
Absolutely not.
But I'm also a little confused. I've been on the board twice. So I have a little bit of a board experience here at Beth Shalom. But I'm not sure that any of what you're talking about needs board approval. But information, before you actually send out a flyer that says we're going to have such and such in the parking lot, you probably should check with, just let us know it's going to come out. In other words, which you're doing right now. You're telling us that you want to do this. Now, people who have been on the board for like 9,000 years here, feels that way sometime, huh? Could you tell me, what we have to approve and what we don't from the Brotherhood? Michael?
Okay, I basically think that the Brotherhood's giving their information to the board. I don't think there's a need to go through all the detailed discussions. Now, we rely on them to do what's best for the temple,
Right.
and I think you're absolutely correct. We thank Merle for the information and just move forward.
Yeah, just if
That's
you,
just
if
my-
people would
That's
just
fine.
keep us
That's fine.
informed about what you're doing, and that's what you do at board meeting every month. You know, so
Thank you.
people, and
Well,
the,
further, I'd like to reiterate that
yeah,
if the Brotherhood would like to have the labyrinth lit on a specific occasion, that it gets the board approval for it.
No problem. I will report that
Part
to
of
our
facilities,
department.
just that you're using the facilities, that would have to be on the calendar for facilities.
But the board may, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming that the
Well-
board doesn't like the idea of having certain times like on Shabbat evenings. They don't want that. But there may be occasions where the Brotherhood would like to have it lit up. And let's just make sure that nobody's gonna get upset about it. I'm not sure. So,
yeah,
Michael?
is that clear as mud?
Michael?
The other thing I'm concerned, Michael,
If I could just ask a question, if you want to light the labyrinth, why not just take an extension cord and put it out there and light the labyrinth?
That's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
there's no switch,
No
there's no
switch. There isn't
switch.
gonna
It was all the other stuff, going underground.
No, we're not doing that.
Oh, okay.
Not for $200. We're not doing that.
Oh, that's for sure. But it's not going to be lit all the time.
No, absolutely not. There's gonna be
And it's
extension
just
cord.
with the
You have to plug it in order to get the lights.
Okay,
And-
and
and to-
from the building, the existing outlet right there. So
Through
you
the
don't have to
wall.
put in any outlets.
No, there's gonna go through the wall. There's gonna be a weather.
No, there is an outlet there.
No, outside, no, there isn't. No, there isn't. There's no outlet out there.
TikTok, TikTok.
Sure there is.
Okay, Mike, you meet with Ani after the meet,
And show 'em.
and
Yeah,
show
I'll
them where it is.
where the outlets are.
There's one back there.
There's one right there and there's one there.
Okay.
Well, I hope you're right, because then we don't need an electrician.
You're gonna go on a field trip?
Okay, that's Mike has the mic. Did you want to say something?
I just want to move the meeting forward. I got.
Yes, okay. Me too, sisterhood. You have anything from sisterhood?
Yes,
Please.
they had a board meeting on February 8th, followed by a lunch at Cricket Day. At that meeting, they requested, and I know Stacy complied with putting the PDF form of large print. Help me out here, I'm sorry. Email, names and addresses, emails, and that's been done. On February 15th, they held a program at BSTC, and they had a presentation by Esther and Steve. Bobby couldn't find the name of the person, and I couldn't either, but I'm sure it's somewhere, about freshwater pearls and about another medicinal jewel. I couldn't find the email either, but I'm sure somebody has it somewhere for the minutes. And they showed a film about the pearls and gave us 3 items to raffle off: earrings, necklace, and a bracelet. I won the raffle on the bracelet. They also made much of their own jewelry for sale. I don't know if they sold anything or if any donations are made to the synagogue. The next open board meeting is on Tuesday, March 8th. It will be followed by a lunch for those who want to attend. And then the following week, they're planning to go on to the Mission for self-guided tour and having lunch out afterwards at a restaurant to determine. They're also getting ready to make Hermitations for Purim as a fundraiser. Emails are going out requesting orders. And Ruth Ann, do you have anything to add? She said to ask you if there was anything to add.
I do. Gail has something.
Okay.
To shine some light on the sisterhood. Membership, we're over 75 people now in sisterhood. It's the largest membership we've ever had. And that's with the COVID mess. We've got over $2,700 in our budget, in our bank account. We are considering at this point the Mahjong tournament to start up again in November. We're going to table a final decision until probably June, when we send out the notice to save the date for it. Because of the COVID, we want to make sure that we don't have a false start here. So we're going to hold off making the final decision about holding it in November. And as you all know, we raise several $1,000s for the temple every year for this event, plus what we already have in the
treasury, so we're very flush. Let's see, in the meeting next, oh, regarding PASOC, I'll take that discussion to the.
Thank you.
Bring that up. And you're gonna be there to help with that, okay? Let's see, is there anything else? That's about it. But anyhow, the marathon tournament is our big event, as you know. And fingers crossed, it comes off this year.
Thank you, Gail. Mike, you have a report,
Five outlets.
5 outlets?
Outside.
5 outlets.
Okay, now we're going to old business. We're done. We have a contract to be voted on with Joe Lazard, CPA. And Ruth Ann, why don't you tell everybody that we sent out?
Everybody on the board should have received it at least twice. Because I know I sent it out. Basically, the congregation or the board has decided that we need more consistent help in the treasurer position. We need somebody who, we need more than a audit every 2 years, basically is what it comes down to. We need somebody professionally who's there to answer questions pertaining to Arizona law and accounting principles and the whole kit and caboodle. And having somebody who's retired doesn't necessarily fill the bill, because being retired, especially if they came from someplace else, they don't necessarily know current law here in Arizona. So Terry Cogan, about 2 years now, I guess it was, sold his business to this Joe Lessard. Joe did our last audit, which was it was a year ago. It was last year, right? Yeah, last year was 2021. We had our audit. So we approached him because they know us and we know them. They had been helping Stacy and Dusty with our QuickBooks. So that's why we approached them instead of going to anybody else, because we would be starting from scratch. Joe gave us a proposal for $500 a quarter. Okay, he will come in. He's going to attend a quarterly board meeting. He's already been working with Stacy for the past 2 months on QuickBooks, and I know she couldn't have done what she did without him. So this was even without the contract. He's been working, and we recommend. I mean, it's not going to be an audit every quarter, but basically it's going to be looking at the same things that he covers during our every 2-year audit. So we are going to catch problems as they occur, or at least in a way more timely fashion this way. And that's basically what we're looking at.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I move that we accept Joe Lazard based on the proposal that he has sent to the board through Ruth Ann's wife.
I second it.
Oh,
Wow.
well,
Any discussion?
I call for the question.
Wow, that was fast. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it is accepted, approved unanimously, right?
yes.
Okay, so that's the only old business, and we only have two things under new business, and we could move right along on that. The first one is the final, I hope, procedure for e-blasts. This is what it is. The president will retain the absolute right to refuse or approve any e-blast. Political items or others that are considered a gray area, which is not very often, will be discussed by the board before approval. It is agreed that anti-Semitism is not a political item. Long-range planning committee, Mike.
Start to reach my water.
Okay.
I've been talking to Gloria and to the board about restarting the long-range planning committee that we had for a little over a year, and it was disbanded, I believe, last summer. So there's interest in restarting this committee that would look at the future of the STC and address those items which are not, we don't have, frankly, have time for when we're just talking about day-to-day needs of the temple. Such examples would include use of the land we have surrounding the temple, what restrictions are there, what future needs do we have. Another area to look at would be financial alternatives to membership. We currently have essentially the traditional paying your annual dues, but there is also a life membership program that we probably need to promote a little bit more. There's other membership financial alternatives that the previous committee discussed with the rabbi's help based on his experiences. Conducting a survey of members' needs. We actually completed that late last year. The idea of using the facility for events other than our traditional services and bagel breakfast, and what are the procedures for that. And to underscore that this committee would consider, investigate, and develop ideas, but nothing would be implemented by this committee. The committee would come with something that could be presented to the board, and it would be suggested that they would have a standing agenda item to talk about what's going on with this committee at each of the monthly board meetings. So I guess is a motion in order, Gloria, to restart this committee?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'd like to move that we restart this committee. There's a number of people who have been on that committee, and others have expressed interest in being on the committee, and we'll approach them to see if they're interested in participating. So my motion is that I'd like to restart this committee immediately.
Second. Okay, any discussion about this?
Call for the question.
You can let me finish my sentence.
I appreciate that. If you could think about it for a second.
Yeah, discussion.
No discussion? Does anybody? Yeah, I know. This is the last thing we have to do,
Yeah, but it
so.
sounds like there's some-
I
All
have
in-
nothing. It's just,
Oh.
I'd like, you know,
Okay.
just to
Oh,
move it
We'll
on.
call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Dan also votes for
I heard
it. Dan
him.
votes for it, and John's gone.
And John's
no.
come out, there you go. Okay, and so that's been approved. I think, we don't really know, but it would be unanimously if John wasn't going.
Can I just make,
Oh, I'm sorry. The only other thing I was going to say associated with that committee is the president will need to appoint somebody to be the chair. I'm just sort of the spark plug to get this thing started.
And you find out who your committee is, I'll appoint one of
Yeah,
those.
okay.
the only thing I want to say as far as discussion goes is, while COVID is as it is, that we can get together, our camera, our technology here is not really set up for what we're doing here today. Because of the confusion of whether it was going to be on Zoom or not Zoom or whatever, I came in, I'm recording it because we took it, I think the board took a very important vote. And we wanted to make sure that there was transparency. That seems to be the catchword for Green Valley anymore. But I'm just advising from my perspective that if you could please not do these on Zoom anymore. We're just really not set up for it. I mean, if we want to spend a couple $1,000s and get the right equipment, then we certainly can, in which case, you know, but for what we have, let's do it in person.
Yeah, I'm on a second, third, and fourth that. There are a lot of reasons we should be doing it in person, but from a personal standpoint, getting questions from the membership, which is what we're supposed to be doing right now, would be twice as difficult for me to call on people, talk to these people, and now I have to consider the people that are watching on Zoom and they have questions. So I think it's just going to be chaotic because I don't think that, I don't think that's going to work well. But also, I feel very strongly, and I believe the board has talked about this several times, and we all feel strongly that we need to start seeing each other in person. And as long as you're going to provide Zoom for everything, it's not going to happen because it's so much easier just to stay in your den and look at your computer than to get in the car and drive to the temple. But we really want people to drive to the temple and be here in person. So, Rabbi.
I would like to request permission to come to the next study session and address that issue. I
Okay,
have very, very strong feelings
good.
about what you're saying. The second thing was, could you please clarify? I have absolutely no problem whatsoever, and I endorse that the president or president's designee decides on the appropriateness of an e-blast.
Mhm.
But I didn't understand the last sentence of it. And comments on anti-Semitism are not political. I didn't get what that's supposed to be.
Well, I think that could probably be removed. That is
Would
what
that
the
mean
board
that
said.
anyone can, the bottom line question is, does that mean that anyone can post anything if it relates to his or her definition of
No.
anti-Semitism?
No, it doesn't mean anybody can,
Okay, so all
Because if
requests
it's-
for e-blasts still go through the president.
yes, and if there seems to be a gray area about, is this political or is it not political? Then we would turn to the board for a decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we said that food donation stuff was
Well, the chairman's
was
of the
granted a
committees.
permission.
Yeah, the chairmans of committees could still do it. I can still send out the e-blast about religious services.
Right.
Okay.
right, right.
That kind of stuff does not.
No, but
But
As long-
basically, I mean, it was the same thing previously, you know, if there was something that was controversial or something kind of gray, it went to the president. I mean, when I was president, I sent it to the board and then, I heard back from people whether we should e-blast it or not.
Right.
It's just now I don't have to make the decisions.
Merle,
I would just like to clarify something. I'm sure there's not a problem, but that doesn't have anything, e-blast has nothing to do with having Stacy send out flyers, does it?
no, as long as what you ask Stacy to send out is about your committee
Right.
or from your committee, yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
that's fine.
Just one more thing I'd like to add, and maybe it was just a mistake on the agenda. Surprised I didn't see at the end of every meeting. And hopefully, for years, we used to get 30, 40 people coming to these meetings. Hopefully now that COVID's over, hopefully when it does get over, we'll start getting people again. But what wasn't on there was members' comments.
Well, that's because it's not on there and we're doing it now, but we also did it all during the board meeting, which is a mistake on my part. I lost control of it. That's what happened. And once I let one person do it, it was hard for me to say, okay, you stop doing that. You're not supposed to. So we did have a lot of, everybody here participated in the discussion, the board's discussion. And I'm sorry about that.
So
It won't be done in the future. In the future, nobody will talk from the membership until the end of the agenda, because that's the way it's supposed to be. I messed up, Merle.
One more thing, I'm sorry. Beverly asked me to remind everybody that you put the lights on for the artwork, if anybody wants to take a look at it.
Okay.
I move we adjourn.
Oh, yes, Mike, run.
No, I'm making a motion.
Yes.
Second.
No,
I'm
she's
running.
second, okay.
Okay.
Trying to-
We're, everybody go home.